first of all, we need to find out whether we know enough about what is a textile. What will constitute that, constitute what is a textile, according to you? Do you understand this? Please feel free, please keep your mics open and please feel free to communicate.
Fabric.
Everybody needs to
Fabric,
answer
yes.
the questions.
Yes, it's a good thing.
Fabric.
What else? Fabric is one thing. What else will constitute a textile?
And texture.
Texture, part of it, yes.
Types of fabric.
I'm sorry?
Types of fabric.
Please repeat that again. I'm hard of hearing. I'm getting old now.
Types of fabric.
Yes. Okay. What else?
The way the fabric is put together, like by knitting it or weaving.
Different ways of weaving and knitting the fabric.
Okay.
It's the raw material.
Raw material is what?
I mean, like before making the garment.
Garment making has a different raw material, right? But textile making has a different raw material, right?
Yeah.
The thread and the yarn.
Can you understand the difference between the textile and the garment?
Yeah. Garment is like the after process.
Yes.
Yeah.
After it is woven,
Yeah.
that is when you can create a garment, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So basically what we are talking about, weaving,
Weaving, yeah.
right? When you have a woven textile, that is when you can create something out of it. You can create about many things without weaving the textile, but those are not very practical textiles. When you are talking about actual practical textiles, there is a warp and then there is a weft. Right? Warp is the horizontal thing and weft is a vertical thing. So unless you cross them with each other, you just have fiber or yarn, but you don't have a fabric. Do we understand this? We are together on this?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
All of us?
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody has any questions? No? Perfect. I like you guys. You guys have no questions. So I'm very happy about that. So let's go to the next thing. We understand what is a textile now. Something which is woven or crocheted or whatever, but it's basically, it has warp and the weft. Right? Two things are necessary. Now, my specialty is handloom, handcrafted and khadi. So we need to understand what is a handloom, handcrafted and khadi.
Basically something that's not mechanically worked, so it's worked by hand. So that's like
1 minute. Mechanically is a separate issue. Even the loom itself, even though it is a hand loom, it does have mechanical actions to it.
Yeah.
Right.
The operations are done by
Yeah, it's not worked by like electricity or power. It's worked by like hand, like manual effort.
The power that comes out, I mean, the power which is utilized to weave the fabric is by human hands. That makes it handloom. What is handcrafted?
Which is handmade, like artisanal.
Well, give me one example. What is a handmade textile or handcrafted textiles?
Khadi.
Khadi can come into handmade textiles, yes, or handcrafted textiles. It is part of handcrafted textiles, but I am talking about handcrafted after the fabric is over. That's when you do handcrafting. Khadi will have a separate section altogether. We will address that. But can you imagine any kind of embroidery?
Chikankari.
Chikankari.
Jamdani.
So it's chikan.
Chikankari.
Yeah.
Not chicken like in chicken.
Fulkari.
Fulkari, yes.
Fulkari, yeah.
Jamdani. I said Jamdani. Jamdani,
One minute.
weave, right?
Yeah, Jamdani is a weave, and but how it will be incorporated as handcrafted, we will go into that later on. But for you, Jamdani is a weave, and it is woven on a handloom.
Okay.
Right?
Ma'am, I had a question.
Yeah.
So
One
this
minute. Let us finish this. I want this concept to get clear. What is handcrafted? What about block printing?
Ma'am, kalamkari.
Kalamkari? Yes. What else? Bandhani?
Yeah.
Yeah. Leheria?
Yeah.
And now, can you ask the question now, Dikra?
Ma'am, I was going to ask about block printing only. Like,
Oh,
is
okay.
it like handmade or not?
It is handmade.
Like, is it done?
The blocks are also handmade. And 1 minute, I want Niharika and Vidhi to start their videos. And all the others who have not started their videos, please start the videos so that I know who am I talking to.
Technical difficulties. So 3 ones will be off.
Sorry?
3 people are complaining technical difficulties. So
okay. And second thing that the third thing is Khadi. What constitutes Khadi? According to you, what is Khadi?
Cotton made. Cotton made using the weave, like the spinning wheel.
No, Khadi can be cotton, Khadi can be silk, whatever. It's not necessary that it's only cotton. But yes,
It's made on the charkha.
Sorry? What are you saying?
I'm saying it's made on the charkha, like with the spinning wheel.
Yes, the yarn is made with charkha.
So Khadi is a technique, not a fabric.
Also, Khadi also can be woven with a spindle. Have you seen that? In movies, you must have seen when elderly people are spinning. That can be done on a spindle also. Have you seen that?
Yes, ma'am. Takli, are you talking about that?
Yes. Takli is the right Hindi word for that.
Who said that?
I thought you guys were, are very sophisticated, so I was thinking of using English words.
No, you must give them both actually. Both are good to use.
Oh, okay. Okay.
They need
But
the
Takli is
language.
the right word for spinning khadi. Right? Also, there is another way of spinning khadi. Charkha, obviously you guys know. Then there is ambar charkha, where at a time 8 different yarns can be made, 8 different threads can be made into the yarn. So that is now handcrafted of a different level. Handcrafted at the yarn stage. So this is at the pre-loom stage. Do we understand pre-loom stage?
Everybody please write down all of these terms. These are important terms.
When the design element is applied at what stage, that is how the textiles are segregated. Say for example with khadi, the yarn which is used is handcrafted and then it is put on the loom and then it is woven, right? So the design element is applied before it comes into the loom. Or does it make sense to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Is it understandable?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So which are the other kind of textiles which will be for the pre-loom stage according to you? It's a difficult question for everybody, so let me just give you the answer. You know that the checks, when you create checks, you have to plan at the pre-loom stage which will be the warp and what are the different kinds of warp And then for the checks, what are the different kinds of weft? We understand warp and the weft. Do we understand, all of us?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Horizontal
Yes, yes.
and vertical.
Yes.
Yeah, we all understand warp and the weft. So for that, when you want checks, say for example, I want 4 threads of red, and then 2 threads of green, and 2 threads of white, and continuously repeat that in the warp. In the same fashion, I want the same warp, same weft of red, green, and white. So can you understand the checks part? How the checks will be made?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it very complex?
Ma'am, you put both the color combination that you just said, you put it on both the vertical and the horizontal.
Yeah, exactly. Warp and the weft.
Yeah.
The horizontal is warp and the vertical is weft. Start using right terms so that you get used to it.
Yes, ma'am.
Otherwise, you can always refer to it, but I would like you to start using the right terms so that it's embedded in the brain that this is what it is. Right? Okay. So now you understand that pre-loom stage, you can manipulate the yarns in a different color and you get a pre-loom textile. Right? Have you heard of a textile called patola?
Yes.
Have you heard of textile called ikat?
Yes.
Yes,
Have you
ma'am.
heard
Yes, ma'am.
of textiles called Banda textiles from Orissa? Okay. These are the 3 pre-loom stage textiles where the yarn is tied and dyed. The warp or the weft or both are tied and dyed. Say for example, there are 3 colors in a patola. So the white is the original color of the yarn. So wherever in the design the white comes, that is tied and dyed. Then it is dyed yellow. And then again, wherever the yellow is, that area is tied and then again dyed into the 3rd color. Say if it is red, then wherever the red is, that is tied and dyed. And then say for example, if I want to use blue color,
Shall I
so
show
wherever
pictures?
I want red, all that is tied and dyed, and then blue color is introduced.
Dilaban, shall I show pictures of this?
Yeah, show pictures, no problems. Yeah. So now do you understand? This is either in the warp or the weft or both. Do you okay? Can you see the turquoise one? Belinda, click on that. Now see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Now they have sectioned out the yarn, and then this yarn is made into tillis. Tilli is normally the word used for something that goes into the shuttle, or it can be directly thrown from one side to the other. That is normally weft. So can you see that he is preparing weft here? Can you see how complex that is? He's just opened one set of yarns and you can't even see the design. Now this has to be woven. Now when they say, no, keep it on that turquoise one, please. When they say it is weft patola or a single patola or single ikat or single banda, can you click on the turquoise one, please?
It's scrolled.
Yeah,
I was
okay.
moving something.
Now this is what it will come out to be. And then the warp will be either in single color or double color. So when it is, the warp is in single color or double color, it's very easy to weave. So it will take about 2 months to create a weft patola.
A sari, one sari,
One sari,
2 months.
but it's a weft
This.
patola. This particular kind, the turquoise one. It's the single patola or a weft patola. Then there is another kind where a similar process is done to the whole of warp. Now each sari is about 5.5 meters long minimum, if not more. So for 5.5 meters, they have to tie and dye the yarn. Now can you imagine how complex that can be? थोड़ा सा
Yes,
यार
ma'am.
ऊपर नीचे हो गया,
No.
पूरा पटोला गया और पूरा इकट गया या पूरा बांधा गया. So at this point, they have to be very, very careful of either making the warp or the weft. And when it comes to, now can we click on 1 minute, some other patolas on the loom, go up. No, go
One
up.
second, I've got this
Can
thing
you
in the
click on
middle.
the next photograph?
Yeah, one
Next
second.
photograph. Here, there is one karigar with the needle kind of a. Now, can you see over here, the warp and the weft, both of them are tied and dyed, and that is basically warp, which is on the loom is the warp, and he is adjusting the yarn at this point. Can you see how complex this is? When both of them they come together, that is when the design is seen. Now, weft patola, for example, will cost you maybe 15,000 rupees. But the double patola will be costing you somewhere in the range of 1 lakh onwards to 10 to 15 lakhs also, depending on the amount of work and the size of the repeat and the detailing of the work. So, you know, there are connoisseurs and many museums who pick it up from India and sell it to the royal families all over the world. And many of the Southeast Asians royal families still use patola as their ceremonial cloth.
It's
Now,
as expensive as gold, it would be.
much more than gold also sometimes.
Are any
Now,
of these your weft ones?
most of them are my designs.
I'm saying, are any of them the weft patolas?
Yes, the green one on top. Yeah, that is a weft patola. Yeah, there was one red one also with the dots. That is also weft patola. No, not this, not this. Still go up. That one. That is a weft patola.
Ma'am, how do we like come to know that which is warp and which is weft?
Okay, I will give you 2-second explanation here. But when you go to my YouTube channel, you will be able to see. I've explained actually physically. Okay, what is the difference between with the same patola? Now I want you to look on the screen. Can you see the whole screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you see the red patola where the cursor is?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you see that the white has a tinge of another color?
Yeah.
Okay. There is one more patola which is on the left hand side with the diagonals. That also you can see, but the red one, red to red, will be easier for them to see. Below. No, below. It's still below.
1 second, let me scroll the screen.
This red one. This one. Now, can you see the white over here is pure white?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you see the yellow over here is pure yellow?
Yeah.
In the other one, there is a tinge of red in the yellow.
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Because the weft has the work and the warp is one color.
Okay.
So that is the effect difference. Can you see the clarity of the double patola and the weft patolas? Can you see the difference?
So Weft patolas are expensive than the other one.
No. Double patolas are much more expensive because you have to do work not only in the warp and the weft, but you have to make sure both of them come together at the right point. Even the smallest dot, if it moves even by half a centimeter, by the end of the patola, you don't have a design at all.
These have outlines as well.
Yeah, we do create outlines.
Like a little outline that gives clarity to the color.
Yeah. I just now have this piece with me.
And all of this is done in the weaving time. Like this.
Before the weaving happens.
Much
The
before.
design is applied at the pre-loom stage.
Like that.
And while weaving, the design comes through. But the actual work has happened at the pre-loom stage. So can we see the variety where we have khadi, where the texture is where the design element is. Then we have the checks where with the color we play, and there is something called madras checks or bleeding madras. Do some research on that and you will find very interesting bleeding madras stories, which was one of the topmost export from India when the Britishers were here. So one of the very important, can you see? But these are not bleeding madras. Bleeding madras is when the color actually bleeds. They make sure that the kacha color is used, and then it is supposed to bleed while you wash. So it will take on a different character after you wash it. So, but what I'm trying to say is all these are pre-loom stage textiles. Does it make sense to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All of you are clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. So can we move on to the next stage, Onloom stage?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When the design is applied on loom, that is what is known as Onloom stage. Now, can you give me one or two examples of design applied on the loom? Anybody who's aware of that?
Banarasi sarees.
Which one?
Banarasi sarees.
Which kind of Banarasi sari? There are many kinds of Banarasi sari.
The one with golden zari work.
Okay. You're talking about the brocade. That's the right term.
Yeah, brocade.
And any other kind that you are aware of where the design appears at Onloom stage?
I'm not sure, ma'am, but I think Chanderi.
Perfect. Very good. Chanderi is one of the examples. Yes.
Kanjivaram sarees. Kanjivaram sarees.
Very good. Which are the saris? Do you want to go state-wise? Which saris do you have? Okay, I would, after you finish this session with me, after that, I want you to have a presentation on, or a documentation, whatever you want to make, on different kind of saris, from which state they come in, along with at what stage the design is applied on the loom. On the loom, post loom also. Right? Pre-loom, on loom, post loom. Okay. Now, have you heard of Paithani?
Yes.
How many of you have heard of Paithani?
Ma'am, I have.
Yes, ma'am.
All of you?
Yes, ma'am.
All of you know what is Paithani? Okay. Paithani is also the design is applied at the Onloom stage. Have you heard of Jamdani?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So Jamdani is also Onloom stage. Yes, no. It's a question. Jamdani is Onloom stage.
Ma'am, I don't think so. I don't think so, ma'am.
Yeah.
No, Jamdani is in Onloom stage textile, but there are 3 different kinds of Jamdanis. Anybody aware of that? Okay. One is Tanda Jamdani, which is extremely delicate and extremely finely woven in Jamdani. So if you are talking about the price range, each Jamdani will be costing somewhere from 60,000 onwards to maybe 3-4 lakhs also.
These are Jamdanis.
No, Belinda, none of these are Tanda Jamdanis.
I didn't write Tanda, I just wrote Jamdani.
The second kind of Jamdani is what Belinda is showing you. That is Dhakai Jamdani,
This is Dhakai.
where the fineness is of a different quality, but it's not compacted together, and hence you get that gauzy effect.
It's looking like embroidery.
see that?
It looks like embroidery on threads.
Actually embroidery while weaving. It is actually embroidery while weaving. It's not something where
Like
you know, you have a
thread is
plan or
woven.
something.
Full fledged.
These start at around 4,000 onwards to 50,000.
The shading.
And then there is a third kind of Jamdani, which is made in Andhra Pradesh.
So
Andhra Pradesh Jamdani will cost you, it's a finer version than the Dhaka Jamdani, but it's lesser than Tanda Jamdani. So it will cost you somewhere in the range of maybe
is this Andhra?
7,000 onwards to maybe 25,000. But lot of designs are possible with the Andhra Jamdani. None of these are Andhra Jamdanis. No.
No.
No. None of these are Andhra Jamdanis. No.
See, this is why I keep saying na Google lies.
None of these are Andhra Jamdanis. This pink one.
First one?
Pink one is the Andhra Jamdani.
The one on the left or right?
Yeah, this one. No, this where the cursor is. It is known as Upadha. If you understand the words in Jamdani or in textiles, then you know exactly which is the most important process. So in Upadha, they pick up the threads and underneath they put extra weft. That is how Jamdani is created.
So Upadha basically in Gujarati
So
means lifted,
now
right?
we what?
Yes.
What are you saying, Belinda? I can't hear you.
Upadha in Gujarati means lifted, so it means lifted threads.
No, not only in Gujarati, even in Hindi, Upadha, upar kiya. So that is the technology that they are using. That some threads are picked up and underneath they will pass extra weft and then they will lower it and another set of threads will come up and again they will return the tilli.
So ma'am, I have a question for all
Tell
three
me.
types of, so you just explained how all three are like different, right? So, but all three are like different types of weaving, but they all are on the Onloom stage, right? Like all
Yes,
three,
sir. Yes.
yeah.
All
Which is
three
the
are
other
on
one?
Loom Stage.
Tanda, right?
Tanda. There are, can you see the white one? Or the, no, 1 minute, 1 minute. No, the white one, the gray and white. The gray and white. Click on that. Not a fantastic level of Tanda Jam. No, 1 minute, gray and white. Not a fantastic example of Tanda Jamdani, but when it is white on white, it is known as Shvetambari. When it is yellow on yellow or yellow with zari, that is known as Pitambari. When it is done with red, or here it is done with blue, blue is Nilambari, and when it is done with red, it's Raktambari. So these are the different kinds of heritage textiles that we have. And no, the one with the tree motif, that is a Upadha. Below. There was a tree motif. Still go higher. There was a tree motif.
I'm trying to find the
No, this is
Tanda.
the. Wait, I'll tell you. You
I don't
scroll
see
and
any
I'll
white
tell
or
you
white.
which one is Tanda. No,
Like, would that be?
no. Tanda is much finer work. And the jal is there, the konya is there. These are the basic elements that will have. No, why are you writing swatch? Just write Jamdani. Tanda Jamdani.
So then we get only
None
Sari.
of these are Tanda Jamdanis. These are all Jamdanis coming up. Go higher.
Is this white on white?
Here they are talking about Awadh Jamdani, the blue color one. They have
Awadh.
made it much lighter and called it by a different name, but the technology is Jamdani technique of Tanda. I mean, this is what most of the people do. They change the name in such a way that it becomes their brand name and people get confused about Awadh Jamdani. There is no such thing as in Awadh. There was no weaving technology of Jamdani. It is imported and the weavers are trained over there. And it's okay, it's okay. But if you research more, you will be able to find Tanda Jamdani. It's much finer. And what I'll do is today, if I can find my my pictures of Tanda Jamdani, I will share it with you.
Lovely.
On the Facebook page. You can check it out, or my Insta page or something. Tonight or maybe tomorrow I'll share. So you will have, I'll put some information also about Tanda Jamdani. Okay, so now you know about Onloom Stage. Have you heard of Kani? Kani from Kashmir. Have you heard, any of you? Hello? May I have some response? Kani is a woolen brocade. It's basically a tapestry weave. Can you see that this is not original Kani on the which you have enlarged, but a Kani look-alike. Which now this is Kani on which you can see over here. It's also done with a similar fashion where the Jamdani is created. I'm sorry, it's a Jamdani like weave. It's not a Jamdani weave, but it's a Jamdani-like weave. Are we clear up to here? Any questions here?
No, this is good and informative.
Hello?
This is good.
Clear.
Yes, no?
Yes, ma'am, we are clear.
Yes, ma'am, we are clear.
Everyone is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Uh,
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. So now can we go to the post-loom stage?
Can we see the pictures of the looms that I've opened up?
These are Kani.
I'm
Most
just
of them
saying
are.
I've opened up pictures of
Ah.
looms to show them like we did last time.
Okay. Okay. There are different kinds of looms. When you talk about looms, there are frame looms, pit loom. Can you see the lady is sitting in a pit? And there is a particular specification of a pit loom. So she is weaving it on the pit loom. There are different kinds of advantages when you use different kinds of looms. Say, for example, when you want to move around while weaving, then you will have a back strap loom, where a strap is put across on the back, and that is where the warp is attached. And then warp is attached to something else, and then the loom can be stretched. So say, for example, if you are working in an office and you still want to weave, you just need a chair to hook it on to do your warp, and you can weave on in the office also. But you know, basically it is a back strap loom, whereas what you are seeing here is a loom which is a pit loom.
1 second.
And then there is a loom which is frame loom. Frame loom is, there is an actual frame created, and on
Showing the
that
strap
the
one.
weaving happens. This is a back strap loom. These, say for example, the lady with the hair, that, can you see the strap at the back?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
Yes,
the
ma'am.
warp is attached to her waist. Yeah. And then the warp is then attached, the other end of the warp is attached to the jali that is there. Can you see that?
Ma'am, but I didn't
Yes,
understand
ma'am.
why it's attached to her waist. Like, I didn't understand what the purpose of that is.
There is a cloth beam. Okay, I need to explain the whole loom structure first, so that you understand what happens.
Yes, ma'am.
1
Can we
second.
go back to the pit loom, please?
Yes.
That lady who was weaving, there's a clarity there. No, pit loom. This is a backstrap loom.
I know.
The pit loom which you are showing. Show that lady. Now, can you see that the warp is attached on something else?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. That warp attachment is known as the warp beam. Initially, when you are preparing the loom, the warp beam is prepared and the yarn is attached to the warp beam. And the second end of the yarn is attached to the cloth beam. If you go higher, Belinda, can you go higher? No, here, on the left hand side higher. Can you see this? Where this guy has attached the warp, and now he is attaching the warp to the cloth beam. So once the cloth is woven, you can twist the loom in such a way that the cloth can go inside and they can weave further.
Yes.
Can you see the ingenuity of the weavers?
Yeah.
That they don't have to move the loom there. The cloth gets wrapped around the cloth beam. And then there is a second action that is happening, which is from the weft, where from one side to the other and from the other side to this side, the weft is shuttled. Hence, you have a shuttle-like contraption. And then there is a third action happening where the certain yarns will go up and certain yarns will go down, and inside the weft will go from one side to the other, and then the warp is shifted. Certain numbers of warp will go up and certain numbers of warp will go down, and in between the weft is attached or put over there, and then you have a compactor. So we have 4 actions. One is attaching the warp to the loom, preparation of weft. Can you see that with this yellow threads, some of them are going up and some of them are going down. That is a pick up and let off motion. Wait, no, the previous loom, show the loom. This is the what. Can you see that some of the threads are going up and some of the threads are going down?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
that is when, but can you imagine if it was not going up and down, can you weave?
No.
No. Why can't you weave?
Because there is no interlocking happening.
Oh, good one.
Very nice. Who said that?
It's me, Unnati.
Good one, Unnati.
Okay, good. So now at least we have the concept clear. That how the fabric is woven. Everyone clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
They're
Wonderful.
operating it by hand or by pedal.
Legs and hands together, depending on which technique one is working with. Now he is working mostly by hand, and for very few change of design, he will be changing the pedal.
And then he changes the color and the shuttle.
Can you see how complex this is?
Yeah.
See what the
How
thread is doing
difficult
every
it
time.
is to coordinate.
And he's
Sorry?
measuring. And with the dyeing ends, it will change. So cool.
Can't hear you.
I'm just saying it's very cool.
Dyeing is a separate issue altogether. Yeah.
Ma'am, I have another question. Supposing you make a mistake, like supposing you put like a wrong thread in or something, is there any way to undo it, or do you have to do the full thing again?
Just 1
Like-
minute. Just 1 minute. Shankar. Ek minute nahi aune. 1 minute. Just give me 1 second.
Yes,
I will
ma'am.
just.
For me, ma'am.
Yeah.
So I asked that supposing you make a mistake while weaving, like while working the loom, is there any way to undo it, or will you have to do the full thing again?
It depends on how far the mistake is.
Yeah, like
Uh,
suppose a wrong thread or something, and like the whole color like is being affected by that. So then what do you do?
Then you have to scrap it and start all over again. If it is such a grave mistake of changing of the color itself.
No, ma'am, I don't mean the whole color. I mean like the color of the thread, like one thread or something like that.
No, but one thread, if that thread is going up or down, if that is going to be disturbing the whole weaving pattern, what will happen is there will be a hole in the fabric. So you just can't cut off the yarn in between.
Yeah.
You will have to take out the work which is done further from that. Just now I'm going through this issue where the karigar had to do 2 corneas. One cornea size is different than the other. Now that is visually not appealing, so I will not allow that. So he has to, we had to cut off the cornea altogether, restart the whole dupatta. Because I will not allow them to have different sizes on both the sides.
Yes, ma'am.
It has to be equal. But if it is just a small knot or something, I would allow them to go further and then finish the knot in such a way that it is not seen by others. So depending on what kind of problems do you have. But if you're talking about the whole yarn color being different, then you will have to cut off the whole thing.
Yeah.
So it's the graveness of what is supposed to be done. Oh, I love this picture. Can you download this picture, Belinda? 1 minute. This picture, yeah. Now, can you see in this picture itself, pre-loom stage? Can you see the warp on the left hand side? The lady, no, okay, let's go over there. No, up where your cursor was earlier. Can you see that the warp is being sized? Where is it?
1 second.
No,
I'm
not
opening
this
the
one.
article.
Huh.
You've got a full article on this.
Yeah, send me the link to this article, please.
Yeah, it looks like a good
Not
article.
this. No. This one. Kutch weaving Khamir. Okay. Can you see behind? They are preparing the warp, and they're just putting starch. It is known, the technical term for it is sizing. They are sizing the starch.
These people are also doing it down here, the ladies.
No, the ladies are doing different things.
Down
This
here.
lady, yeah. Okay.
The
They are also sizing the yarn. So if it is 27 meters of yarn per warp beam that if they are using, then 27 meters ka jagah they will require, or maybe 30 meters ka jagah, so that they can very comfortably do the starch of that. After the starch is applied, can you see that this lady on the left hand side is preparing the warp thread by thread.
Oh yeah, that's
She's
the most
creating
phenomenal
sections
thing.
of warp.
Like every single thread is individually tied. The full length. It is so
No, here this is not about
labor-intensive.
tie and dye. Hello. This
Tied
is
to
not
the
about
beginning
tie
and
and
the
dye.
end. It is tied to the beginning and the end. Every thread in a sari.
Yeah, every thread in the sari.
Oh my god,
And
that's
then
like intensive
that
labor.
needs to be collected on the can you see that she has a wheel kind of a thing in her hand. So a bobbin kind of a thing is created, and on each bobbin the yarn is prepared. Now there is a warping machine which is there, which is not shown here, but the warping machine will take all these yarns and stretch it to one thing which will create the warp. And then when the warp is created, then it is attached to the warp beam. Can you see how complex this is? Does it make sense to you guys?
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes,
Now
ma'am.
can you see the third lady over here with a charkha kind of a contraption? It's not a charkha.
This part.
It's the Weft winding machine. All of you know stitching or machine stitching or something like that?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. We know
The
the
machine,
basics.
there is something called bobbin. Now the bobbin has to be wound. In the same fashion, the tillies or the shuttle has to have those yarns inside the shuttle. So that lady over there with the large wheel, she is preparing the weft. So before starting weaving, they will calculate how many tillies they will require to weave a sari. In what color the weaving has to be done. Say if it is 9 color sari, then they will require 10 colored tillies, so that they can achieve 9 color. Each tilli will be positioned in a different way and they given to the weaver. And then once the warp is attached to the cloth beam, the weaving can be started with the weft movement. Does it make sense to all of you?
Scarily.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
how complex it is. So before we buy a handloom sari, the reason why I'm explaining this so much, I don't want you to negotiate with the
Not
karigar
bargain.
or with the
Understand how
middleman
many
also.
people have
So
worked
for
all out
example,
for it.
if it is 1,000 rupees sari, do you know how, I mean, this is just the basic. You still haven't studied the yarn making process. Normally, each cotton sari will give employment to 60 people, and each silk sari will give employment to 80 people. So if you negotiate for maybe say 100 rupees, each one will get 1 rupee less. But to you 100 rupees doesn't matter, right?
To them it does.
So I don't want you to the reason why I'm explaining so much, so not only just because you understand, but I want you to understand what kind of labor goes into it.
So when you all do a revival business, remember how many people are getting employed when you all do a revival business. When you all make sure that the fabrics you use in said brand are only handicraft or handloom people, how many people are actually getting employment from that one fabric supplier?
And we are not even calculating the garment manufacturer line. We are just fabric manufacturing is what we are talking about. So when you are using that to create a garment, you are additionally giving 20 more people employment.
This is the sustainability of brands section, you know, your brand, sustainable brands and all of these. That's what they're trying to do these days. They're trying to get on this bandwagon. Many of them are just superficial though. They yet end up using a lot of technology and machines, and it is not accurate. So when you guys set up, make sure you all know the background of where you're picking up your fabrics.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yeah.
So there are some looms that even have a bit of an electronic or a mechanical aspect to them, right?
100%.
So how do those work? Like, is a warp
They are powered.
electronic?
The shuttle that is, they are powered with electricity.
Okay.
The minute it is powered with electricity, it is known as power loom. It is not hand loom.
Okay, ma'am.
And with power loom, you can do only simple fabrics. Whereas the skilled karigar can do amazing Banarasi, amazing Paithanis, amazing Ashawals. But for that, you need skill sets. And those skill sets are our heritage.
Now, all of these things you notice
this
are
is
rural.
what we need to.
These are rural skills, you know, that we never know about because we are in cities.
Yes, ma'am.
Like you need like 20 meters, whatever, for the thread to be made. That means you need 20 meters of open space.
Minimum.
And ma'am,
How much time does
more
it...
than 20 meters, at least 24 meters of open space.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, I had a question.
Tell me.
How much time does it take to make one sari?
It depends on which technology. Say with a plain simple weave like Sholapuri sari will take maybe 4 days because it's a simple weave. There is nothing changing. And when you compare it to a patola, which will take 1.5 years to create.
1.5 years for one sari?
So don't you dare bargain. 30
even if you bargain, they will not
for 1.5 years.
Yeah,
Oh
but
my
even if
God.
you bargain, they will not listen because weavers are very
The
smart.
point is that the value of that is just time.
Yeah.
And the value of that is much more than time, much more than the skill sets, because now there are only 22 weavers. When I started, there was only 1.5 weaver left. So from that, we have increased to 22. But we still are long way away from the sustained pattern patolas. So we are still working after 40 years also. I'm still working on revival process of pattern patolas.
So ma'am, you just said that they're like 1.5 weaver only, and you like so where yeah.
Half weaver was half skilled weaver. He doesn't know everything, but he is an assistant.
So that one person taught other 20 people.
Yes. No. One person taught maybe 3 people, and those 3 people then taught a few more. So that's how the cycle has gone on.
So you can't learn this
you
anywhere.
can't teach 20 people at a time.
No, but can you learn these skills
Yeah,
anyway?
it's very complex way of manufacturing. Yeah, these are skills which the reason why it was going down was because the skills are complex, and you get much more money in something else, utilizing the same kind of what you call efforts. Say for example, in share market, you will earn much faster money. You will lose also faster, and nothing is sustained. Whereas over here in original pattern patola, they get certain respect also, and they all, I mean, because of the what you call the national awards and Guru Shishya Parampara awards and things of that kind, there is a pride in doing it. And that's why now younger generation has started to take interest in coming back
This is a
because
generational
of the
skill, right?
craft.
Inherited skill rather than taught skill. This is not a
Yeah,
quality.
but inherited skills were not there. You have to recognize that when I started, only one weaver, and he had only one son. So
Used to
inherited
be
skills
villages
were
of
not
these
there.
people, right? There was like a whole
So we had
community
to
of them.
break it down into smaller skills. In 12th century, there were 365 weavers. No, 380 weavers
12th
in 12th
century, guys.
century. Yeah. And slowly, because of the pricing structure and
Exclusivity.
also the relevance of the textile getting lost. Now, of course, people buy textiles because they understand our heritage and they want to support our heritage. But in between, when the nylon, when I started working, there was an era where nylon era was going on. So people, common people were taking pride in wearing nylon saris.
Wash and wear.
Now, can you imagine handloom sari, and which is like in at that time also it was in thousands of rupees, and nylon at that time was costing 150 rupees. So why would they buy something so expensive? Unless they realized the eventually with the effort done on revival process, we were able to, now we are able to support 22 karigars.
So these guys are basically learning luxury design. Now this is exactly what Indian luxury is, cultural luxury. These are cultural luxury
Oh,
items.
you
Right?
don't know what is luxury. I mean, in West,
I've seen.
they just don't know what is luxury.
No, but these guys are
Our
supposed to be
Raja
understanding
Maharaja, the kind of
luxury.
luxury that they had, and they have even now, you should see that luxury.
Yeah, please have a whole
There is
section
a
on your research.
museum of there is a museum in London where King Edward was the earlier king who abdicated for a lady who was a divorcee, and he was told he can't be the king if he would marry that lady, and he married that lady. So he abdicated the throne. But that lady's garments is displayed in that particular museum. And if you notice, her footwear had her initial hand French knotted with single tar, or her garments, her undergarments were hand laced, not the machine laced which is available now. And her each and every linen which was created, that linen itself was created specifically for her, and the design applied on the was also so detailed that they have created a whole museum of her things.
She was a couture supporter.
And as sorry,
She was a couture supporter.
what
A
are you saying,
luxury
Malinda?
heiress who really loved wearing high fashion.
Absolutely, and
She has the best
she
fashion icon
was
in US.
epitome of the high fashion. And she was the patron of, her, there are some undergarments which are displayed. I mean, that kind of lace, I would like to display outside. I don't want the undergarments to have that. That quality of lace, which you can't even see today. That she was wearing it as an undergarment. So you can imagine that is luxury. Or when she would have her, footwear embroidered, that would be embroidered with one tar only, so that it doesn't hurt her feet from the other side. Now that for me is true luxury. Just now luxury is just branded luxury. It's not true luxury. I mean, they do some hand embroidery and they call that luxury. But the quality, just now I'm working on one kurta where single tar embroidery, one sherwani, where single tar embroidery is all over the kurta. And yet with differentiations in texture, one is able to see the design very clearly. Now to me, that is luxury. When you're talking about the fall of Patan Patola, or when you are talking about an exquisite paithani, or an amazingly small bandh of a bandhani, but which is brocaded, you will understand what is true luxury.
This is Indian
Now we need to
luxury
understand.
heritage.
Yeah, and the
We
West
need to
does not
market it
know
like that.
what
I
is
need them
luxury.
to market it like that.
Yeah,
I
but
need them to understand
West
that that's
genuinely
what they're
doesn't
supposed
know.
to be learning.
Yeah, that's what. But the West does not know what is luxury.
Yeah, this we're not just talking about Khadi Bandar handlooms. We're talking about
Yeah.
all levels of handlooms.
Hmm.
Handlooms worn by the kings to paupers. The skills that have come through the centuries of being Indian. So you all have to focus on those things when you all do your research. And then when you all market a revival, that's how you all
I
need
will
to
give
market
you
it.
one example. India used to have 24% of the whole world's wealth at a particular time before Britishers came. How did that happen? It was known as Sone ki Chidiya. It was only because of these luxurious textiles were exported to Southeast Asia, and while coming back, they will pick up kalamkari or cheat or something like that and take it to the European area. So both sides, there was trade happening. It's a there is a silk route from Himalayas. Then there is a salt route
India for so long.
via, sorry?
Silk has been traded with China for India since centuries.
Yeah, but you haven't heard of the salt route. There is a salt route which was happening. And there is a spice route which was happening.
Yeah, the spice route we know.
Yeah.
Apparently, India got conquered for long and dalchini. We would have given it all to them.
No, but along with that, they were trading textiles because they could not carry hard cash because of the pirates. So this was their means of carrying the hard cash, and eventually they will sell it in Spain or Portuguese or something like that, and that is when they will get gold. So that was the richness that we had. Unfortunately, Britishers came, the skill sets went down. Unfortunately, after that, many governments didn't know how to handle, for example, this government doesn't know how to handle this whole industry, which is the largest employer after agriculture in India.
Fabric used to be a self-sustaining industry.
Exactly.
The weaving industry of India was a self-sustaining industry, and now it's considered a loss industry.
It was not only self-sustaining, Belinda.
It was profit-making.
It used to be sustaining other industries.
It was profitable.
Yeah, amazingly profitable. Can you imagine that 24% of the whole world's wealth was with India. 24%, and just now we have 2%. Can you understand this, the difference?
We exported
And
fabric
all
worth its
this,
weight in gold.
yeah, all this was because of the spices and the fabrics. And today also the potential is still there.
You all need to revive it.
Yeah. Also, India has the largest pool of skill sets in the whole world. Everyone has lost the skill sets. We still have people in crores who are having skill sets, and it's a world heritage. It's not just India's heritage. And I believe that it is our responsibility to make sure that even if you don't do the revival process, ensure that you do sustenance process. Support the karigars. It's okay if you don't do revival process. Anybody who doesn't find this interesting can leave the session. No problems. I don't think it's a compulsory session, is it?
Yes.
But please participate if you are here. Please make sure you participate, and please make sure that you pay attention. Thank you. So, any questions up till here?
Ma'am, I had one question. So these patterns that we talked about are the kinds of weaving, but what kind of threads are used for this kind of weaving? Is there any specific?
Before nylon era, we had natural fibers only. For example, silk,
Cotton, silk,
wool, jute, banana fiber, pineapple fiber. These are the natural fibers that we used to have. Then came the man-made fiber section altogether. And that is when the challenge has started for the natural fiber section. But I do believe that when you are using natural fiber, the fiber making industry is getting revived. There is a jerry making industry that needs to be supported. So there are so many things which are intertwined with our heritage. We just think, oh, it's just handloom weaving, na? 30-40 people not getting employment. No, it's like 100 people not getting employment. When you don't, my request to you is, or to all of you, buy handloom garments or saris. Make sure that the men in your life wear kurta, shirts, pants, whatever they like, made with handloom, handcrafted or khadi, and post it on social media as a fashionable garment. Not just like, yeah, I'm just wearing a kurta made out of khadi. No. It's a fashionable garment. I want you to put it on your social media platform and talk about it, so that others also get in. It's not just you who need to get inspired. We need to inspire others also to wear handloom, handcrafted and khadi. And this is not just for Bela Sangvi. This is for India that we will be doing this, and maybe for the world heritage also. So this is what, when I am giving you this knowledge, this is what I want from you. You need to return this to me, that you will post all this on your social media. And if you want, you can tag me. If you don't want, it's okay. That's not the important thing. But I want you to wear. Yeah. I want you to wear. I want you to ensure that you talk about it on social media. Those two things I want. And understand what you are wearing. So there are three things that you will be doing. One is actually educating people about what kind of weave or what kind of fabric you are wearing. You are showing the way to wear the fabric, and you are inspiring others to wear the fabric. Does it make sense to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we have time? How long How long
we're
do we
done.
have?
It
We are
is
done?
11 o'clock. We can conclude.
Okay. Okay. So, well, it was a pleasure meeting all of you, and I'm looking forward to each and every one's different presentation on which kind of textiles and where it comes from, where it originates from.
On the final
If
day,
you
when
can
the
give.
presentations, Bela Ben will be visiting to observe. You will get a week or two to finish your work, and then I will be inviting her when you all will be giving your final presentations.
I would love that, and discuss with all of you what so that it you start appreciating whatever that you are working with. I want you to have the value for it, not just like ha, this is very nice. No, you understand the value and you share that value with others, and hence I want you to do this assignment. Does it make sense to all of you?
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you,
So
Bela. It
Thank
then
you
was
so
awesome.
much.
This was very informative. They learned a lot about handicrafts, handcrafted fabrics, weaving. It's like a mini textile course in an hour. This is quite good.
I try. Yeah, but it was a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to all of you. Tomorrow I may not be there, so all of you are going to take this forward. So please understand this well, and please work on the sustenance, revival, any kind of processes that you prefer. But do work with handloom, handcrafted, and khadi.
Oh, by the way, for all
Yeah,
your presentations, please use Bela Ben's references. They will be accurate. The information about the fabrics and everything will be on her Instagram, her Facebook. When you all take an image, make sure in your presentation you do the due crediting. And if you post, tag. Do the process that you would do. If
I
there's
have
questions you
5
have
different
personally for
pages
her,
on
let me
FB.
know. I will share her email ID. You all can ask your questions and visuals accordingly.
Yes, ma'am.
On FB, I have 5 different pages
Give me the names
doing
so I can
different
forward them.
things.
And just send me the names.
I'll
I will
share it with you.
forward them all your links, all your standard names.
Otherwise, just type Bela Sangvi and all 5 will come.
They're
Google
different
it.
brands.
Yeah, different brands. Purnakala by Bela Sangvi, Navanidhi by Bela Sangvi, Avartan by Bela Sangvi. It's all there. It'll be easy to track. And then there is Bela Sangvi with different spelling also.
Shangvi, na? SHA.
That is one. And there is one which is SANGHVI with BELAA. That is the main page just now. And Bela Shangvi is a page which I normally use to inform people. So this video which we are taping just now, that will go on Bela Shangvi.
So I think you should just send me the tags, the links, the names that you're using, and I'll forward it to all of them.
I'll do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Most
ma'am.
welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Most welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.
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 Okay. Students, your assignments.